what do you two have in common? Well, you're really big, you're tiny, you don't really have a lid, you have a lid. I've worked it out. They're very peppery. So yes, good morning. I'm back in my running gear, so you know what that means. It is a fitness fragrance face-off. And yes, we are looking at pepper today. I have got 3 fragrances, so you saw 2, and we're adding this one in as well. And we are looking what is the best black pepper-based fragrance that I've got in my collection. And I wanted to pick 3 that are kind of pepper heavy. So the first one we're going to look at today is Bentley Infinite Intense. This is, again, one of my favourite underrated Bentley fragrances. I feel like Bentley for Men Intense gets a lot of hype. Bentley for Men Absolute. But this bottle, this fragrance, these sort of lines don't tend to get noticed so much. So we've got Bentley Infinite Intense today. We've got the original Hermes you would have just seen. That's in the competition. One of my favourites, a signature scent. And also this cheap fragrance, Black Pepper by Marks and Spencer. So 3 very different types of price ranges. You kind of got the real cheapie, the sort of middle of the range type fragrance, and then sort of higher end designer fragrance. But again, all centered around pepper. You detect the pepper in all 3 fragrances, even if it's not necessarily the most dominant note or the big selling point of the scent itself. But let's just quickly go through them one at a time. Before that though, I just want to quickly mention what this is. So if you haven't seen a fitness fragrance review or one of my fitness fragrance face-offs, essentially I'm going to put the fragrances against each other during my workout today. So I'm going to go for a run. I don't think I'm going to be able to walk to the gym, but we'll do a gym workout, have a shower, do all those things, and I'll talk about the fragrances. And I'll base them on 5 categories today. So their price/value for money, their versatility, how much you can use them in different situations, their projections, how much they kick off my skin when I'm running, how much they come off my top, and how much they fill up a room. So I'll spray my room later and see which one's the strongest. We'll look at their compliment factors, which one is the best for compliments, if I had any compliments with them, and also longevity, and just see essentially which one's the strongest once I've completed my workout today. So yeah, going to very quickly go through the fragrances, and yeah, I'll talk about the sort of scent profiles of each one, because there's very slight differences, slight nuances with all of them. Okay, so let's quickly go through the fragrances just one by one. We'll start with the very cheapest, so Black Pepper by Marks and Spencer. So I'm going to spray this on this side. And yeah, what you get with this fragrance is very much a masculine man's type scent. It just smells like a men's body spray. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This is kind of an entry level scent. If you want to smell like a man, again, you could wear this smart casually, you could wear this to the gym, you could wear this pretty much in any situation. That's what this is. This is kind of a scent that's a bit of a dumb reach for me. Just, yeah, black pepper and a little bit of woods in there. That's what I pretty much detect. Then if we go for the middle of the range, again, Bentley for Men Intense is normally the popular one, but Infinite Intense is one that people don't talk about. And I like this, again, pepper heavy, fresh, spicy, heavy. Bit cheap the lid on this one. But if we spray that this side, again, you pick up that fresh spiciness, that black pepper straight away. But there's a lot more citrus. The last one we just spoke about doesn't really have any citrus in that Marks and Spencer one. This one does. It's almost got this sort of smoky, citrusy, peppery smell to it. Again, very masculine, very grown up. This feels like the older brother, essentially, of this fragrance. It's got a bit of that body spray vibe. But you'd expect a man more in their 30s to wear this one. Again, there's a little bit more depth to it with a bit more smokiness. And yeah, it's very pleasant. But there is an element of citrus in there as well. I think there must be a little bit of lemon. My brother and me used to say you smell like cucumbers. I don't really get that now. And then the last one, very iconic fragrance, came out in 2006. The original Hermes, my signature scent. I've worn it in so many situations. That's what I like with pepper as a note. Quite a versatile note. You can really utilise it in lots of fragrances, whether that's a winter type fragrance or again just an all year transition season type scent. And I'll spray this one in the middle. I haven't smelled that for such a long time. It smells so good. I think there's things like flint in this one as well. But again, a little bit like the Infinite Intense. What you've kind of got with this one is citrus as well and a smokiness. I think there's a bit of vetiver in this as well, which is giving that smoky vibe. You get this kind of rindy orange, this earthy orange smell in this, but you do get that smokiness and that pepper. That pepper just gives it that masculine edge. If you smell some of the flankers of this, Ogivre, really like it. That's more citrus heavy. This one definitely has that pepper that shines through and gives it more of that masculine edge and a little bit more depth, so you can wear it in the winter time as well as in sort of warmer weather climates and just all through the year, dress up, dress down. That's why I really like it, and obviously we'll talk about versatility later on. So yes, essentially what we're going to do then, so those 3 fragrances are going to be against each other. They're all sprayed on my top, as you can see by the stains. yeah, we're going to do the first two categories on my run. So we're going to look at the price / value for money and also the versatility, and we'll rank them 3 points for what comes first, 2 points for what comes second for the round, and 1 point for the unfortunate one that comes last in each round. But yeah, time to stop putting it off. The rain's going to come otherwise very soon. So yeah, going to see you out there in a bit. Wow, it is currently not raining at the minute, but it's going to. Apologies for my phone as well. It looks very red, a bit grainy. That's because I'm using my old phone just in case it just chucks it down. I don't get any rain damage in my new phone. So price / value for money for these fragrances. Well, as you've just seen, the Marks & Spencer's Black Pepper is about £10. Infinite Intense you can get between sort of £20 and £40. And then the original Turd Hermes sort of £60 to £80 per 100ml. So what one do I think is the best value for money? What one's going to get the 3 points? Well, look, I always consider scent quality as one of the most important things when I'm spending on fragrances and looking at the price. And I think they're all about right in terms of, if you've never smelt these three before and you said to me, what's the one that smells the most expensive? I'd probably tell you it's Turd Hermes. If you said to me which one's the middle one, I'd say it's Bentley Infinite Intense, and which one smells the cheapest? It would be Marks & Spencer's Black Pepper. So in that sense, it's very hard to say, oh, one's punching above its weight here, because I don't think any are. I think it's very clear there's a best smelling and a cheapest smelling. So I think it's the trade-off here of what, how much are you willing to spend? Do I think Black Pepper from Marks & Spencer's is 8 times worse than, Turd Hermes? Probably not. And I think I'm going to give the first round 3 points to Marks & Spencer's Black Pepper. Because look, it'd be the one I'd least buy, but it's the one that's the most wearable. It's not as smoky as the other two fragrances. When I first owned Infinite Intense, when I first owned Turd Hermes, I wasn't sure about them myself, and that's when I was, started to get into fragrances, but wasn't really into them. And I would have found the Black Pepper one from Marks & Spencer's the most wearable. And also, because it's not got those really sort of deeper, harsher notes, or more aggressive notes, more wintry based notes, I think it just means you can wash it off. It's only going to last a couple of hours. It doesn't last very long. And for some people, that might be a good thing. It's a more recognisable scent profile, and it's easier for those entry-level type situations. And you can throw it on at the gym, anything like that, because it's not going to last that long. I'm not saying it's a gym fragrance at all, but it hasn't got that real heavy, depth, smoky, leathery notes that would really put you off. So for that reason, that's going to get the 3 points. It's just a bit more wearable. 2 points I'm going to give to the original Turd Hermes. Look, I think that scent quality, we'll talk about compliment factor as well later. I think that one gives you that element of statement. And I think that's the one where you go, out of the three, it's a statement scent. And for a lot of people, compliments don't matter the most. I think that one's going to get you the most attention, and that, for some reason, for me, would just swing it. I didn't like it originally, and then when people started to compliment me on it, I thought, actually, that's good value for money, and I think that's what happened for a lot of people. And then last for me, just Bentley Infinite Intense. No reason in particular, but I do think the citrus in that one just isn't as good as the original Turd Hermes. So it had to just go last, unfortunately, for that reason. But first 3 points, I think Black Pepper from Marks & Spencer deserves it, just because it's more wearable, good value for money for a lot of meals, and a recognisable scent. And for people at sort of entry level, that's going to be a big positive. Right, on to versatility. Well, that's annoying. Where it's so dark, I've just kicked a puddle. I've got a very dry right foot, and my left foot is soaking wet. It's squelched. It's horrible. Stop moaning, Harry. We want to hear about versatility. So, versatility for these 3 Black Pepper fragrances. How much can you dress them up, dress them down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, first of all, I want to say Black Pepper, or pepper as a note in general, is really versatile. I think they're really good pepper fragrances, fresh, spicy fragrances, for those transition seasons in particular. And the beauty of transition seasons, when you use them in spring and autumn, they never feel wrong then if you wear them in the summer or winter. They're not, I'd say, number one, but they're never too heavy to really sort of be cloying, and they don't really cut through the cold, but they're okay. They're not going to offend anyone, and that makes them signature scent worthy. And I think in the case of these 3 fragrances, you can say they can all be signature scent worthy at different levels. Now look, we can go on versatility and we can say, look, the most wearable one is black pepper. That's what I've just said. It's the one that's the least strong, hasn't got a huge amount of projection, which we'll talk about later, and it's a little bit more of a recognisable scent profile, which means you can, use it in different situations without thinking it's going to be too divisive, whether that's at the gym or just at the office. And for a younger person, they might just find it's a little bit more recognisable, a bit familiar to them. However, I'm not going to say that's the winner for this round. And this is really going on my experience. And it kind of blends into a video I did the other day, underrated workout fragrances. Terre d'Hermes, for me, I wore at the gym a couple of years ago. I've said this story before. Woman instantly picked it up. She said, "Oh, that's Terre d'Hermes. I remember my husband having that." Her name was Helen. And then she wouldn't leave me alone at the gym. Every time I saw her, she just knew me as this person that smelled of Terre d'Hermes. And she got back into fragrances. After that, she bought her husband it. She was buying Hermes fragrances for herself. And it's just one of those ones that you don't think it's a gym fragrance. And it's not really. But you can wear it for that, and people really like it. And honestly, I've dressed it up in occasions because of that smokiness, that little bit more depth it's got. And it gets the same compliments. It is a versatility machine. And it's brilliant for that. It's one that people don't recognise maybe for it. But Terre d'Hermes can be worn casually or dressed up date night, all those things. And it does a good job. And black pepper plays a part in that. So that's getting my 3 points. I'm going to then go for the fact it is quite wearable. 2 points for Marks & Spencer's black pepper. Here comes the rain. And then 1 point I'm going to go for the Bentley fragrance. Look, I think if you had these fragrances, all 3 like I do, that one's the most redundant because of the citrus in it. It's quite serious, it's quite grown up, and it just doesn't have that same classiness that the Terre d'Hermes has. Look, you can dress it up definitely, but it doesn't feel like a gym scent. It feels more smoky, more spicy than maybe the other 2, rather than being citrus heavy. And I just think it falls down. I think it's the one that it would be the most redundant, especially if you've got Terre d'Hermes and the Marks & Spencer black pepper. So that's getting the 1 point again. Very sorry, but when we get back, we will talk about projection. Which one am I noticing most on my run if they survive this rain? I don't know if you can tell, but I am absolutely soaked. I cannot wait to get these clothes off. So yeah, it will be unfortunately at home treadmill workout today, but I'm going to spray my room now to test for projection. So essentially, if you haven't seen this before, spray my room 5 times with each fragrance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's Bentley Infinite Intense. And then I'm going to spray Terre d'Hermes, 2, 3, 4, 5. And essentially what I'm seeing is how much these fragrances fill up a room. So someone came in, a colleague or a friend, or just someone at home, would they notice the fragrance? How much would they fill up the room? And then what I'll do in that 10 minutes while I just wait for it to kind of linger, I'm going to talk about projection during my run downstairs. So I'm going to get these clothes off, cannot wait. And I'll tell you how much I notice each scent during my workout. So projection during my run. Did I notice the fragrances? No. Look, if you look at the coat I've got on, it's this like reflective green coat. It's that sort of material. It doesn't really soak any fragrances in. And none of them were noticed at all during my workout. It was just impossible. It is so wet out there. It's chucking it down. I'm thinking of not going to the gym today and just doing my weights at home, actually, because it's that strong. Don't want to get soaking wet. So yes, didn't really notice any of them. Do I think these are going to really fill the room? Well, pepper as a note isn't really a note that does fill a room. As I said, it's one of those ones can sort of project for an hour. I always think pepper's more in the sort of top notes of a fragrance, and you'll detect that when you look at Fragrantica. You'll probably see a lot of them are in the top notes. They're not really those base notes. They don't really stick in the air, and these aren't sweet fragrances. As I said, there's a bit of vetiver that might add that smoky depth that might fill up the room, but it won't be the pepper that does, if any of these do. And for that reason, I'm not expecting any of these to fill the room. So it's going to be really hard to see which one wins this. It might just come down to the fact that extra scent quality that you get from the Hermes, Terre d'Hermes, might just take over. So yeah, it'd be really interesting. Going to head upstairs now, then I'll do some spray my arms to test for longevity. But first of all, let's go test for projection and give a score. Okay, up we go. Look how dark it is. That isn't the rain, by the way. That is my dad in the shower. Oh. Right, let's smell my room and see what we can detect. I'd be really surprised if I get any, but let's hope we do. Oh, there's a very faint one, and I know exactly which one it is. And it's not the one I said. It is Bentley Infinite Intense. It's that more lemony citrus and smoke that's coming through. It's certainly not the pepper that I'm noticing there. It's that kind of lemon citrus more than the orange mandarin citrus that you would get from Hermes. That's definitely won this round. So again, I have to just go on the room spray test for this today. From experience, I've got a compliment with this in reception. We'll talk about compliment factor later on, but I have had compliments on this, particularly in the first hour before. So yes, maybe it doesn't surprise me this one's kicked through the most. And I think with the other two, because I can't really detect them at all, I'm going to just have to say Hermes purely on experience. I've worn that for runs before. I said I've worn it in gym workouts, I've worn it during work. And there was a day, I remember it was a couple of years ago, it was a really, really hot summer. I was in a classroom and one of the members of staff, she said to me, I can really smell your fragrance. And yeah, she messaged me that night to ask what it was. So it lasted, 6-7 hours in 30 Celsius heat. So I'm just going to go on purely experience there. That one's a bit stronger. That being said, M&S Black Pepper, as I mentioned earlier, very strong in the opening, but it doesn't last. It drops off quickly. So just for that little bit more staying power, we'll give the 2 points to Hermes, 1 point to M&S, and then obviously first place for this one, Bentley. It's finally not come last. Anyway, going to go on the home treadmill now, and we will talk about compliment factor in a bit more detail. We are on the home treadmill, so you're balancing on a microwave at the minute. Apologies for the terrible setup. Got my head basically banging against the box and everything. But we're talking about compliment factor for these phrases. Do I think they're compliment getting phrases? Well, let's start with Marks and Spencer's one being the cheapest. I've never worn it myself for compliments. Look, for me, it's one of those scents. You're paying £10, buy it for you. It's a very recognisable scent. It's one that can definitely go in a bag. It's a pretty decent bottle. Something I should actually give credit to. It's a cheap fragrance, but the bottle's high quality. It's got a good atomizer. Never worried about it leaking. It's got a lid, pretty chunky glass on it. It's absolutely fine. So I think it's safe to put in a bag. And as I said, people around you, if you put it on at lunch and you go back straight in the office, they will notice it. And it's a safe scent. It's recognisable, but it smells like a man. It smells what you traditionally, culturally, social norms would expect you to smell like. A nice, young, well put together person who cares about their appearance. I don't think you're going to get the wow comments with it. So if you're looking for those wow compliments, I don't think that's the scent to go for. So then we go up a level. We go into Bentley Infinite Intense. And to me, this is like the more grown-up black pepper version of the Marks and Spencer's phrase. It's got that bit more citrus, a bit more smokiness about it, as we mentioned. But it's quite a serious scent. It screams to me, if I had to sort of put it in a box of who I'd had that fragrance for, 30-year-old man, just got married, maybe just got a very young child, got a little promotion in his job, started to dress up a little bit more, so he's wearing these sort of casual clothes like me. He's now going into those, more suit and tie type of ties, but he doesn't want to spend too much, and he's got to save up for a mortgage, all those things, all those other commitments. He just wants a nice basic spray. Element of seriousness, you've settled down, that's what I'm trying to say, and it's not that sort of date night scent. And again, peppery fragrances, I don't think they necessarily are, not fresh spicy anyway, more those warm spicy ones, like ones that have cardamom in. You might expect to get all those sort of compliments. So you're not going to get that with any of these. And again, the first compliment I probably got was actually with this phrase. I was in my reception job, and yeah, loads of women who I was standing around with, because I was like one of the only males on it, all said, "Oh, that's Harry who smells nice." And we did pause for a second just because it was so strong. It wasn't a wow compliment again, it was just, noticed I had a spray on, smell nice, smell clean, probably just hadn't recognised me wearing it before. But then the last one, Hermes. I had so many compliments. I mentioned the one at the gym earlier, where a lady there called Helen, she just mentioned it all the time, and then she got back into fragrances as a result of smelling that one. People at work used to message me, literally asking, what is that fragrance? And again, that was more of a dress-up environment, so I was wearing smart shoes, smart clothes, and compared to casual type. So I've worn them in so many situations to Hermes, and people just absolutely love that one. And, if it reflects your personality, it's got a nice citrus about it, it's very natural smelling. People like those natural smells, but it has that masculine edge. I don't think it's a seductive scent, personally, to me it's not, but it's one that can define you as a person, and you get the best comments. So I'm going to give that one the 3 points. I'm going to give Infinite Intense the 2 points, just because, again, it's a step up in quality. Yes, it's quite serious, but that element of class and sophistication, which I think pepper can bring to fragrances, that one has. And Marks and Spencer's Black Pepper is just going to get 1, just because, look, compliment factor phrases are phrases that smell like everything else. I just don't know if this one's got enough bite about it to really, to really give you those. If it was a little bit stronger, if this was more of an intense version, it probably would have come second, but I just don't think it has enough bite about it. Other than that, though, there's nothing wrong with it, it's not divisive, and you'll get nice comments, maybe just not those whale ones like you might get with a Hermes. Okay, I've decided to go out for a walk to get my train tickets for a London that we are going to, me and my brother, next month. Of course, I'll get that one on film at the time, but I'll keep it secret what we're up to. So yes, time to smell my arms. That's been about 3 hours since I applied the fragrances, so similar to the gym time. Apologies here, I'm going to be right up to my head here while I smell these fragrances. And then the other side. Okay, so there is actually a clear winner at the moment, and it's not the one I necessarily expected that would win. Black pepper I can't smell. If I can, it's about 5-10%. It's really worn off. But I did get quite warm, obviously being on the treadmill at home. So that one's come last, the Marks and Spencer one. £10 though, what do you expect? I'm not knocking it for that at all today. Then Ted Hermes has come second. Look, it's there, it's definitely there. But it's not really heavy and it's not really aggressive. And that might just be more a case of, again, I've got so many layers on, and you know, it's not a real powerhouse, but I think it'll have that lasting power later on in the day. But 3 hours later, the one I can safely say that is getting me through the day the most is Bentley Infinite Intense. It's really strong, and I can just tell more, again, not by so much the pepper but by the citrus in it, that smoky citrus that's coming from the lemon. So that's the reason that one has won this round. It's just got that little bit more staying power at the moment. That I think it's 3 hours in, 5-6 hours time, I think Ted Hermes would last a bit longer. I think that scent quality would come through, but I can only give a score on longevity based on what I'm detecting now, and have to give it to Ted Hermes. Sorry, not Ted Hermes, Infinite Intense over Ted Hermes. So Infinite Intense gets 3 points from Bentley, 2 for Ted Hermes, and then 1 unfortunately for the Marks and Spencers. So what we'll do, once I'm back, we will count up all the scores and we'll see what is the overall winner today. We are done. May not have been to the gym today, but I have managed to do 42,332 steps today, all while wearing 3 pepper forward fragrances. So we've got Marks and Spencer's Black Pepper there, the cheapie, the middle of the range one, Bentley Infinite Intense, and then also this one, the original Ted Hermes Eau de Toilette. So, been doing a lot of calculations. It's taken me a long time to work it all out. I've had to take a post-it note and everything. So, it's close. There's 30 points essentially on offer because per round there's 6 points. 3 points for the winner, 2 for second, 1 for third. So we're going to go from third to first. So what has come third today? 8 points. So it's a respectable score anyway, but it is this fragrance here. It is Black Pepper by Marks and Spencer's. What's it been marked down on? Look, I think it's the most wearable fragrance of the lot. I think it's the one that most people are going to find really easy to pull off. If I can spray a bit. And it is just pleasant, but it's nothing that's groundbreaking. The performance on it isn't great. So for the first hour, I can smell it now, probably because it is quite synthetic, it's going to project. But after a couple of hours, it's not really going to last. So I'd almost say with this fragrance, in terms of a pepper fragrance, brilliant. Obviously, the name tells you all. But wear it for you. Just wear it for a bit of a top-up gym bag type scent. I think that's where it's going to work best. This isn't one, unless you're sort of someone who's just really getting into fragrances for the first time, I wouldn't necessarily buy it. It's fine though. There's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely worth £10. £10 for 100ml of a fragrance. It's perfect. And it's certainly not a harsh synthetic. It's not going to burn your nostrils or anything like that. So a really good scent. Second place with 10 points. Bentley Infinite Intense. I thought this one won actually before I did all the scores. So yes, what's this one been marked down on? Well, actually, it looks like it was those first 2 rounds that cost it today. So it's price test value for money and also its versatility. Look, there's nothing wrong with either. I think it's a good value for money type fragrance. Some people say it's even a little bit like this fragrance, and I do get that. It's just more lemon than orange. But it's quite serious, and I think this is where it's going to mark itself down essentially for a lot of people. It's one of those scents that it's a classy gentleman, young man, as I said earlier, a bit stereotypical, but someone who's just settling down with a family. That's what I get with this. But it doesn't... I don't know. I feel like it needs something else, just something else to make it stand out that a little bit more to take it to the next level. Because again, it's probably overshadowed by some of the other Bentley fragrances, and that's no fault of its own. But it hasn't got that seductive, alluring quality, and I just think some people would find that they'd want something else in their collection, maybe something a little bit sweeter. But as an office scent, this is a great office scent. That's where I think this thrives. Office type scent, fresh, spicy, a bit more serious, a bit more sophisticated, a bit more classy. Job interview, anything like that. I think it's perfect. I really do. But the winner with 12 points, the original Ted Hermes. I just love this scent. I think it's just got that real balance between class, sophistication, but also this wearability that you can just wear it through the year. I think really, look, this is a pepper based sort of competition today. I think that one there though, it's a great pepper scent, but it's the citrus in this over this that just makes this one stand out as the ultimate pepper based fragrance. It's got pepper and you easily detect it. And look, I think you just get what you pay for. That little bit of extra quality today has just won the rounds for me. And I think this is the Versatility King. For me, the best signature scent out there. One of the best fragrances out there in my opinion. It's been out for 20 years now. I still think it's great. I think it's timeless. I just don't think it's ever going to age. And I think it really strikes that balance between great performance, great versatility, great longevity. And you could just use it for everything. Honestly, even if you don't think you could wear this at the gym, I've got confidence at the gym with this more than some other fragrances which are assumed or labelled gym type fragrances. So Dead Hermes, 12 points today. Brilliant winner, brilliant fragrance. And yeah, black pepper is certainly an integral part of this. But thank you very much for watching today. Might do vanilla next. See if I can find some vanilla fragrances in my collection as well. Because let's be honest, we all like a bit of vanilla, don't we? Thanks for watching. Catch you later.